Okay, things we have to fear. One thing we have to fear is fear itself by Franklin D. Roosevelt. So you may think that we have a lot to fear when usually and realistically we have not a lot to fear. So if you ever ask yourself why and what you fear, try it. I'm not saying I don't have any fears, because I do have a lot of fears, but when you ask yourself why and what you fear, you start thinking a different way. You think of how dumb those fears are and how you don't really need to have those fears. So understanding how fear works, why we fear, and what those fears say about us will help us overcome those fears one day. Today we'll cover how fear works, why we fear, and what our fears say. You might know what some of your fears are, but you might not. You might know why you fear, what you fear, but you might not. But do you know how fear works? Knowing how fear works will help us understand and overcome our fears. So, the definition of fear is a distressing emotion aroused by impending danger, evil, and pain, whether the threat is real or imagined, the feeling or condition of being afraid. So, fear is the most basic human emotion. It works like an instinct. Fear helps protect us from danger, keeping us secure and safe. The brain reacts to fear instantly and sends signals to our nervous system to make our heart beat faster and breathe more rapidly. So like all emotions, fear can be an emotion that can be mild, medium, or intense, and it can last for a brief second or a long time. So fight or flight response is when you prepare your body to either fight the danger or run away from the danger. And as soon as the brain figures out what has happened to you, you will go back to normal. So now knowing what fear is and how it works, do you know why we fear? As I said before, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. But why do we fear? I know I fear public speaking, but why should I? I really don't have a bad experience with it. You may fear dogs because you've been chased by a dog or something, but you may fear death because that's just something you're afraid of and never have had experience with your own death. So fear is helpful because it cautions us. It makes us keep ourselves out of danger and promote human survival. Since you now know how fear works and why we fear, can you tell me what our fears say about us? Think of all your fears, your biggest fear. Is it big or small? Is it mild, medium, or intense? So I've asked a few students what their biggest fear was, and 32% of them said it's spiders. 20% said it's disappointment. 12% said it's a person or group. 16% on death. 12% on the dark, and 8% on snakes. Spiders kind of shocked me. I didn't think that many people were afraid of spiders, but the reason they were afraid of spiders would be that they could kill you. So really making death the number one thing they're afraid of. But they also have had an experience with them. So fear is not a good or a bad thing. It protects us, keeps us out of danger. But 32% of us are afraid of spiders. But 20 out of the 32 are afraid of dying by spiders. So people tend to avoid the situations they fear, and it doesn't help us overcome those fears. It actually, avoiding the fear will make it bigger. So true success is overcoming the fear of being unsuccessful by Paul Sweetie. And now back to your biggest fear. Is it big or small? Did you get this fear from an experience, or did you just make it up? How does it make you feel? And what is it? Fears are not weaknesses, so we really have nothing to fear. We just fear things to be cautious. But sometimes they're unnecessary and they cause more caution than needed. So I hope you actually learned something from this. Knowing how fear works, understanding why we fear, and what our fears say about us can help us overcome our fears, and maybe you will overcome your biggest fear one day, or you might not.